Some of you need to hear this today, and it won't be easy. You've been taught your whole life that kindness means always saying yes, always being agreeable, always putting yourself last, and because of that, people have walked all over you. They have taken advantage of your kindness, mistaking it for weakness. But let me tell you something. Kindness is not cowardice. Love is not compromise. There comes a time when you must say no to manipulation, to toxic relationships, to those who drain your energy and steal your peace. Stop being kind to everyone and start being righteous. Not everyone deserves your time, your energy, or your kindness. And if that offends someone, so be it. Because the truth is not here to make you comfortable. It's here to set you free. Kindness is often mistaken for weakness, but the two are not the same. Many people believe that being kind means always being agreeable, always saying yes, and always putting others before themselves. They assume that kindness requires self-sacrifice at all times, even to the point of exhaustion and personal suffering. But true kindness is not about being a doormat. It is not about letting people take advantage of your good nature. It is about having the strength to do what is right, even when it is difficult, even when it means standing alone. Weakness is the inability to stand firm, to set boundaries, to say no when necessary. It is allowing others to manipulate, control, and use you without resistance. It is giving in to guilt, fear, or the pressure to please everyone around you. Many people who are naturally kind-hearted fall into this trap, believing that to deny someone is to be unkind, that to walk away from a toxic situation is to be cruel. But this is not true. There is a vast difference between being kind and being weak. Kindness requires strength. It requires courage. It demands that you stand up for yourself and for others, that you hold to your values even when it is unpopular, even when it makes others uncomfortable. A truly kind person does not enable destructive behavior. They do not allow others to take advantage of their generosity or mistake their gentleness for a lack of resolve. A kind person is willing to confront difficult situations, to have hard conversations, to draw the line when necessary. People who misunderstand kindness often find themselves trapped in relationships or situations where they are constantly giving but never receiving. They feel drained, exhausted, and unappreciated, yet they continue because they believe it is the right thing to do. They fear that standing up for themselves will make them selfish, that saying no will make them unkind. But real kindness is balanced with wisdom. It knows when to help and when to step back. It understands that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is to walk away, to say no, to refuse to be part of someone else's toxic cycle. Those who are truly strong are not the loudest, the most aggressive, or the most dominant. Strength is not found in cruelty or coldness. It is found in quiet confidence, in the ability to say, I will not allow this. It is found in the courage to be disliked, to lose approval, to walk alone if necessary. Weakness bows to pressure. It allows itself to be controlled by others, to be guilt-tripped, to be manipulated. Strength stands firm, not out of stubbornness, but out of conviction. Many people go through life believing that kindness means keeping the peace at all costs, avoiding confrontation, never disagreeing. But true peace is not the absence of conflict, it is the presence of truth. And sometimes truth requires confrontation. It requires the strength to call out what is wrong, to protect yourself from harm, to recognize that not everyone deserves your kindness. Some people will take everything you give and still demand more. Some will drain your energy, use you, and discard you when they are done. True kindness does not allow this to happen. It recognizes the value of self-respect. Being kind does not mean you must tolerate mistreatment. It does not mean you must always be available, always say yes, always bend to the will of others. It means you act with integrity, with wisdom, and with strength. It means you choose to do what is right, not what is easy. The strongest people are often the kindest, not because they allow others to walk over them, but because they know when to stand up, when to push back, and when to walk away. Not everyone deserves your time. Time is one of the most valuable resources you have, and once it is spent, you can never get it back. Yet many people waste their lives giving their time and energy to those who do not appreciate it. do not reciprocate it, and do not deserve it. Society often teaches that being a good person means always being available, always making time for others, and always putting other people's needs before your own. But this mindset leads to burnout, frustration, and resentment. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot allow yourself to be drained by people who take more than they give. There are people who will take advantage of your kindness, who will demand your time without considering your needs, and who will guilt you into believing that if you do not give them what they want, you are somehow selfish or unkind. These people do not value you, they value what they can get from you. They will call when they need something, disappear when you need support, and return only when it benefits them. They expect you to listen to their problems, to be their source of comfort, to sacrifice your plans for theirs, but they will not do the same for you. This is not friendship. This is not love. This is not mutual respect. It is exploitation. You must be selective with whom you give your time. Not everyone deserves access to your life. Not everyone should be allowed to drain your energy. You need to ask yourself, does this person add value to my life, or do they only take from it? Do they encourage me, support me, and respect my boundaries, or do they only come around when they need something? Do I feel energized after spending time with them, or do I feel exhausted and used? If someone consistently drains you, disrespects you, or takes your time for granted, they do not deserve your time. Some people will argue that this is selfish, but it is not. Protecting your time is an act of self-respect. You are not obligated to entertain every request, to be available for every conversation, to engage with every person who demands your attention. Your time should go to the people who truly matter, the ones who uplift you, who respect you, who pour into you as much as you pour into them. Life is too short to waste on people who do not appreciate you. It is not your responsibility to be everything for everyone. You do not have to answer every call, respond to every message, attend every gathering, or be there for people who are never there for you. You have the right to say no without guilt, to walk away from people who drain you, and to invest your time in things and people that truly matter. Do not allow guilt, obligation, or fear of rejection to keep you trapped in relationships that do not serve you. The people who truly care about you will respect your time and understand your boundaries. The ones who get angry when you set limits were only benefiting from your lack of them. Your time is precious. Do not waste it on people who do not value you. Give it to those who deserve it, who cherish it, and who make your life better. You owe it to yourself to be intentional with your time, because once it is gone, you can never get it back. Set boundaries without guilt. Too many people go through life feeling obligated to meet everyone's expectations, afraid that saying no will make them seem rude, selfish, or unkind. They allow others to invade their time, their energy, and even their peace of mind because they have been conditioned to believe that setting boundaries is wrong. But boundaries are not walls meant to keep people out. They are fences that protect your well-being. They define what you will and will not accept, what you can and cannot tolerate. Without them, people will walk all over you, taking more than they should, giving less than they ought, and leaving you exhausted. There is nothing wrong with saying no. There is nothing wrong with protecting your time, your emotions, and your energy. People who truly respect you will also respect your boundaries, but those who have been taken advantage of you will resist. They will push back. They will guilt trip you, call you selfish, accuse you of changing. This is because they were benefiting from your lack of boundaries, and now they feel entitled to what you once gave so freely. Do not let their reaction manipulate you into retreating. Their discomfort is not your problem. Many people struggle with boundaries because they fear disappointing others. They worry about how people will react, about losing relationships, about being perceived as uncaring. But the truth is, people who care about you will respect your limits, while those who only want to use you will be offended by them. If someone leaves your life because you refuse to be walked over, then they were never truly there for you in the first place. Setting boundaries means recognizing that you are not responsible for everyone's happiness. You do not have to fix every problem, say yes to every request, or be available at all times. You have the right to prioritize yourself, to protect your peace, and to choose where your energy goes. It is not selfish, it is necessary. The more you allow people to overstep your boundaries, the more they will continue to do so. But the moment you stand firm, the moment you refuse to be guilted into things that drain you, you take control of your life. Some people will test your boundaries, trying to see if you really mean what you say. They will push, they will manipulate, they will attempt to wear you down. Do not let them. Enforcing boundaries requires consistency. If you say no, mean it. If you establish a limit, stick to it. Do not apologize for valuing yourself. Do not explain yourself to those who are only trying to break you down. You do not owe anyone an explanation for protecting your mental and emotional well-being. The most important thing about setting boundaries is understanding that you are worthy of respect. You deserve to be treated with kindness and consideration. You do not have to accept toxic behavior, one-sided relationships, or endless demands on your time. The more you practice setting boundaries, the more empowered you will feel. You will begin to see who truly values you and who was only using you. You will experience a new sense of freedom, knowing that your time and energy are yours to control. Do not let guilt stop you from protecting yourself. People who benefit from your lack of boundaries will always make you feel guilty for setting them, but that is their issue, not yours. Stand firm, be strong, and remember that you have every right to prioritize your well-being. Stand for truth, not approval. Too many people go through life seeking validation from others, bending to expectations and avoiding conflict just to be liked. They compromise their values, silence their voices, and tolerate things they know are wrong because they are afraid of rejection. But the truth is not always popular, and standing for what is right will often make you the target of criticism. You cannot live a life of purpose if your decisions are based on pleasing others rather than doing what is right. People will pressure you to conform, to go along with things that make you uncomfortable, to agree when you know you should object. They will expect you to stay silent in the face of injustice, to laugh at jokes that are not funny, to accept treatment that is beneath you. They will call you difficult, judgmental, or arrogant if you refuse to compromise your principles. But their opinions do not define you. Seeking approval from people who do not share your values will only lead to frustration and regret. Approval is fleeting. One day people will praise you, the next they will criticize you. If your self-worth is tied to their acceptance, you will always be controlled by their opinions. You will live in fear of rejection, constantly adjusting yourself to fit the expectations of others. But standing for truth means refusing to be swayed by popularity. It means being willing to lose friends, to disappoint family, to walk alone if necessary. Because integrity is worth more than the approval of people who do not respect your convictions. People pleasers often find themselves trapped in situations they hate, surrounded by people they do not even respect, simply because they fear being disliked. But the hard truth is, no matter how much you try to please everyone, someone will always disapprove. Someone will always misunderstand you, judge you, or criticize you. You cannot control how others perceive you, but you can control whether you stay true to yourself. Standing for truth requires courage. It means speaking up when you see something wrong, even when it is uncomfortable. It means setting boundaries even when it upsets people. It means refusing to engage in gossip, dishonesty, or anything that goes against your principles, even when it isolates you. It means being firm in your beliefs, even when the world pressures you to change. The people who truly respect you will appreciate your honesty, even if they do not always agree with you. But those who only value you when you conform to their expectations were never real supporters to begin with. Let them go. Surround yourself with people who respect truth, who encourage you to be strong, who push you to grow rather than shrink to fit in. Do not trade your integrity for temporary acceptance. Do not let the fear of rejection silence your convictions. Approval fades, but character lasts. In the end, it is better to be respected for standing firm than to be liked for compromising your truth. Toxic people don't deserve your kindness. Too many people waste their energy on those who manipulate, drain, and take advantage of them. They tolerate disrespect, accept constant negativity, and excuse harmful behavior in the name of kindness. But kindness should not be given to those who abuse it. Some people are not simply difficult or misunderstood, they are toxic. They thrive on control, guilt, and manipulation, and no amount of kindness will change them. Toxic people use your empathy against you. They play the victim when they are confronted, twist the truth to make you doubt yourself, and demand endless patience while offering none in return. They expect your kindness to be unconditional while their behavior remains selfish and destructive. The more you give, the more they take. They see your compassion as weakness and your forgiveness as permission to continue their harmful ways. You do not owe kindness to those who repeatedly disrespect you. Being a good person does not mean tolerating mistreatment. It does not mean allowing yourself to be emotionally drained by people who refuse to take responsibility for their actions. If someone consistently lies, manipulates, disrespects, or drains your energy, they do not deserve your kindness. They deserve distance. Cutting off toxic people is not cruelty, it is self-respect. Some people will never change, no matter how much patience and kindness you show them. You cannot fix them, you cannot save them, and you should not sacrifice your peace trying to. Walking away from toxicity is not an act of hatred, it is an act of self-preservation. Toxic people will always make you feel guilty for setting boundaries. They will call you selfish, accuse you of being unkind, and make you question your decision. Do not fall for their manipulation. People who respect you will honor your boundaries. Only those who benefit from crossing them will be angry when you enforce them. Stop wasting your kindness on those who refuse to change. Save it for those who appreciate and reciprocate it. True kindness is not about pleasing everyone. It is about knowing who is worthy of your energy and who is not. Let go of the toxic relationships and make room for the people who truly value you. Be firm, be bold, be free. Too many people live in the shadow of others' expectations, afraid to take a stand, afraid to upset anyone, afraid to choose themselves. They hesitate, they apologize, they shrink themselves to make others comfortable. But true freedom comes when you stop living for approval and start living with conviction. You do not need permission to be strong. You do not need validation to stand your ground. You owe it to yourself to be bold in your decisions, firm in your beliefs, and unapologetic in your pursuit of peace. People will try to shake your confidence. They will test your limits, push your boundaries, and make you question yourself. But you do not have to explain, justify, or defend every choice you make. You do not need to soften your words to make them more palatable. Being firm does not mean being cruel. It means standing in your truth without fear. It means choosing what is right over what is easy. Weakness is giving in to guilt, allowing yourself to be controlled, fearing rejection more than you value your own well-being. But boldness is knowing your worth. It is knowing that you are not responsible for making everyone happy. It is refusing to be weighed down by toxic relationships, unnecessary obligations, and endless expectations. It is walking away when necessary, saying no without guilt, and standing tall even when people disapprove. Freedom is not found in pleasing everyone. It is found in choosing yourself. The moment you stop explaining yourself to those who will never understand, stop justifying your decisions to those who do not respect you, and stop apologizing for protecting your peace, you become truly free. Not everyone will like it. Not everyone will accept it. But that is not your burden to carry. Be firm, be bold, be free, because your life belongs to you, not to the opinions of others. You were not put on this earth to be a puppet for others, to constantly give while receiving nothing in return, to allow yourself to be drained, disrespected, and manipulated in the name of kindness. True strength is not in pleasing everyone. It is in standing firm, protecting your peace, and refusing to be used. Stop being kind to everyone. Not everyone deserves your time, your energy, or your kindness. Set boundaries without guilt. Walk away from toxicity without apology, and stand for truth even when it costs you approval. There will always be people who misunderstand you, who call you selfish for refusing to be their servant, who push back against your strength because they benefited from your weakness. Let them go. The people who truly respect you will never demand that you sacrifice yourself for their comfort. Kindness is powerful, but it must be given wisely. Be kind where it matters, stand firm where it counts, and never trade your self-respect for someone else's approval. Be bold, be strong, and live free.